make sure you check on your battle buddies. And that's for all of us. All of us need to go out and we need to check on our battle buddies. If there's somebody out there that you haven't talked to in a while, let's give this a shot. How's everybody doing? Crazy week this week, right? Let me know if you guys are getting any echoing or anything like that. Maybe it's just me. What a week, guys. Just bear with me. It's working on 2 different screens. I I just yeah, it's been a week. T-Dog, thanks. David, good morning. Anthony, thanks, brother. Appreciate it. I'm starting late today, guys, because I was waiting. It would just dive right into it. I mean, here in about 10 minutes, FBI Director Kash Patel's got some updates, and I was waiting for the updates to go out, and then start. But it's got another half hour before we get to that. So I'm waiting on that. I'll get some updates as we go. So we're just gonna get started with the show, and if I get some updates on that, I'll feed those in as if I can. First off, I try to start the video off with September is Suicide Prevention Month. Check on your battle buddies first and foremost. This week has been just a kick in the dick kind of a week. Excuse my language, but I just, yeah, it's been one of those weeks, right? Just a crappy week. David, at least we woke up with somebody. Yeah, that's a positive thought, and I want to hold that there for a second. But let me get started here. Earlier this week, I had a mentor, a friend, Todd Cochran, CEO of Blueberry Podcasting. He's an independent podcaster. He's 61 years old. Passed. Todd started Blueberry as one of the largest hosting platforms for podcasting, and he started this many years ago. He was a Navy veteran. He was a friend, a mentor. The podcasting community has lost one of its greats. So I wanted to recognize him. Todd was, I sat down, and I remember when I was starting Heroes Media Group, I kind of told him what I was doing, and he was somebody I looked up to in a sense of how he created Blueberry and how he created the hosting side of it. And I asked some questions, and I thought he would be against it. He was so open. He's like, Adam, if you need help with anything, shoot me an email, give me a call. And I remember seeing him. I looked forward to going up to the booth at different events and just chatting, catching up with him. So this man's going to be sorely missed. So I wanted to share that because there's a lot of podcasters out there that looked up to him. This out of ABC News, where I already talked about the manhunt for the shooter in Charlie Kirk. Update, they have a suspect in custody. This week, again, just to those of you that don't know, Charlie Kirk was a founder of a conservative youth activist organization called Turning Point. Again, this is out of ABC News. Utah Governor Spencer Cox called the fatal shooting a political assassination, said that live on TV shortly after it happened. The Department of Public Safety said on Wednesday night, 2 people were initially taken into custody, and then after the shooting, later released. one of the witnesses told NBC News he was surprised that he wasn't asked to go through like security to get to the event. Also said that there was no one checking his ticket entering, and there was no metal detectors around. As of this morning, live on TV about an hour ago, or not even an hour ago, President Trump live on TV said they had somebody in custody. They're showing a lot of the video on TV right now. Um, of the video of the suspect running across the roof into the woods. And again, that's all that we know right now. And literally, I started late this morning because around, I don't know, quarter to 9 Eastern time, I was told that they were on the news, said that they were going to do an update with FBI Director Kash Patel at 9 o'clock, and then just recently said that there'll be a update at 9:30. So um, I'm monitoring it here. I got some people downstairs. We're going to try to get that in as we can, but yeah. What do we have here? David, thanks, brother. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, we're getting that age where it's, life is, again, a tough week. And Charlie, that's, whether here's the thing. And I thought about this. It's I didn't know Charlie personally. I did not meet Charlie. I've seen him speak a couple of times. And he seemed like a very bright young man. Um, some would say that he poked a bear. I look at it as like he was a man that sat down and would have open debates and conversations with people that didn't believe in the same thing he did. But he didn't hate anybody. He didn't openly hate anybody. He was very strong in his faith, which I thought was very admirable. Um, he was murdered, and we all saw it, videos there. Everybody's seen it. It was horrific. My heart goes out to the Kirk family and everybody that knew him. Um, but now it's like we live in a time where there's so much division in this country, and it's sad. I've reached out to a friend of mine. I saw a post this morning. He's pretty left, and as most of I'm probably more probably conservative, but I consider myself independent. I consider myself, I when it comes to politics, I'm an equal opportunist. I really can't stand either side. That being said, a friend of mine had made a post this morning about why uh, Meta or Facebook was pushing conservative stuff on his page, knowing that he follows all the left and whatnot. And to me, it's funny because I get kind of the opposite. And so I reached out to him and I hadn't talked to him in a while. I said, "Hey, I think this is just social media, mainstream media continuing to try to divide and make us hate each other." And we got into more detail on it that I won't get into here, but he thanked me for reaching out to him, and he totally agreed. And one of the things that was said by both of us was the the world that we live in right now is crap. Not the word that we that we use. He's a Marine Corps vet, so it wasn't the words that we used, but it was ultimately like where we're at in this country right now. It is in a bad spot. It's a crappy situation, and there's so much division uh, right now. It doesn't have to be. And if you could sit down and just have conversations with people without taking it personally and just being open to listen, you'll find, like I did with my friend, we both agreed on a lot of things on what we would like. The disagreement was how to get there, right? And I think, at least this is what I feel, there's a lot of things you guys have heard me say this before, like, the mainstream media is this toxic cesspool of negativity and propaganda that want to continue to divide people left and right, them versus us, blah 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 blah, however you want to put it. But then you forget about the big melting pot in the middle. People that um, don't necessarily agree with each other on a lot of different things, but can come together. And you don't see that because that's not sexy. The negativity and everything else sells and gets the ratings and all that other BS, right? But it reminded me this morning talking to my friend that if we came together like this and just listen to each other, you find out that we have so much in common, and the things that we don't necessarily agree on, there's things that we do agree on, and we want the same things. We just have different ways, different paths of getting those things, if that makes sense. I'm hoping that this makes sense. I'm kind of at a loss this morning. Gene, good morning to you, brother. Thank you for jumping on. Appreciate you. So yeah, this has been such a tough week. And then uh there's just a lot of hatred. And then sticking with the Charlie Kirk story, all of the conspiracy theories. Now, you guys know my rule of thumb. Wait 72 hours when something happens, right? It's been less than 48 hours. So the fact that they've got somebody in custody, now the third person, because the first two, like I mentioned earlier, they released. So it's going to be, I'm curious to see what happens with this, what Kash Patel, the director of FBI, says this morning in this press conference that's supposed to be happening or supposed to be starting here. And hopefully I'll get an update, not yet here shortly. And those of you that are watching this right now, if you happen to be watching, any of the news or whatnot, Kash Patel is supposed to be doing an interview. But leave a comment, please. David Willis, there you are, brother. Appreciate you. What was I saying? So sticking with the Charlies. So I said, wait 72 hours to hear what happened, because the story is going to change, and it has a little bit, and it hasn't even been 48 hours yet, right? So I'm curious to see what happens today. But the conspiracy theories, my God, like I guess there was a plane that left and went off radar and then came back, and everybody's wondering, well, what happened with the shooter? What did this? Was that the shooter? Blah blah blah. I've heard Israel was involved, Mossad was involved. I've heard this administration was involved, which that didn't make sense. And then it was like, oh, it had to be the left, and had to be this, or it had to be that. And I'm just like, shut up already. I literally had to take a break from social media where I wasn't going to post anything yesterday, and that wouldn't have been right either. I own a media company, so it's kind of the necessary evil sometimes. But again, this is where, yeah, I don't know. I must have just had a stroke. Totally lost my train of thought. Anyway, crazy. Like I said, crazy week. So, Kash Patel is going to be coming up. We'll get some updates there shortly. Let's move on. Yesterday, and then yesterday, what was yesterday? 9/11, right? 24 years. And I remember the radio station. I remember exactly where I was, like at the intersection of golf links and Craycroft down in Tucson, Arizona. I was just outside of Davis-Monthan Air Force Base. I was heading to work that morning, and I was listening to John and Frank. It was a morning show in Tucson at the time. And I remember, and that show at the time was a little risque. They played alternative music, but then they were always cracking jokes about just dumb stuff. It was kind of like I want to say it like a Beavis and Butthead kind of a thing. But I remember them like they were cracking a few jokes, and then all of a sudden, like, hey, we just got word that a plane hit one of the Twin Towers. And I remember sitting at the light, and I was like, man, why is this traffic had never been so bad? And I was like, "Why the hell is traffic so bad?" And I see semis coming out of the or trying to get into the base, because at the time, I believe it was, either Craycroft or Swan was the main gate, into DM, and they weren't letting anybody in, and the Humvees were out, and I was like it was odd for them to say something like that on radio. I was like, "That just kinda messed up, like, why would you say something like that?" And then seeing it, and it took me about an hour, I don't know, half hour, hour later, I finally got to work, and I everybody was in the break room, and I was like, "What's going on?" And, I remember seeing the replay of the second plane hitting the tower, at that time, and it's hard to believe it's been 24 years since that happened. Where were you on that day where the world changed? And it changed a lot of people's lives, especially guys in the military that were before that. I had joined in '98, so we were at peacetime when I had joined, and then that happened, and uh, well, you guys know the rest. It was history, right? So Brent was in elementary school over on the Grant. Brent, thank you up there. And Dave, the conspiracy. Yeah, yeah. This one, usually I get into some of the conspiracy theories, like it's an interesting theory. Let's dive into that just a little bit, and then a lot of some of them are just like that doesn't make any sense at all. But then you look at it, I don't know. Yeah, yeah, David, burn in my memory. Yeah, it's just crazy. 24 years already. David, I got out of the Marine Corps and was working a factory job. And then you got recalled. Really? Wow. That is something else. That's something else. So that being said, um, let's move on. 9/11. If you're watching this right now, uh, share this. This is gonna be one of those shows. Hey, here's what's gonna happen. Let me just preference what we're gonna have. I got a couple of. We've already talked about news topics. I've got one more news topic I want to cover. Happened down at the Naval Academy. Screw it. We'll do it right now. One injured following a lockdown at the U.S. Naval Academy yesterday. One person was medically evacuated from the Naval Academy last night following a lockdown in response to threats made against the service academy. You gotta be dumb to do something like that, right? Anyway, the individual was injured. The individual that was injured was a naval security forces as they were clearing the buildings, according to a statement from the Naval Academy spokesperson. Um, there is no active shooter threat. However, one person was injured while naval security forces were clearing a building. The person was medically evacuated, was put on a Maryland State Trooper helicopter just before 7 p.m. Um, the individual is in stable conditions. Confirmed them just in. They got a name, so I'm getting an update right now. Bear with me, please. Um, Tyler Robinson. You know what? I hate saying that. I hate saying the name, but that is confirmed. That they have confirmed the name of the shooter. Patel is not on yet. Um, so yeah, we got it. They got it. I guess the news had just announced the name. More to come. Stand by with that, and I'll interrupt as I go. So just bear with me today, guys. That's what I'm going to ask. All right. They, oh, any other week, David, I would post that. Not this week. Oh, yeah. Naval Academy. Crazy. You're picking on the Naval Academy. I mean, there's a lot to go into that, but I'll do that another week. Here's the thing, guys. This week I'm gonna go over a couple events that's going on. We've got some new shows that are live. I'm back behind the mic with my podcast, The Decision Hour. But one of the things I want to have everybody just keep in mind is oh, here's another thing. I totally forgot about this. So shortly after the Charlie Kirk shooting, there was a shooting at a school in Colorado. And some of those conspiracies were saying, oh, it was related. It's an attack on our Second Amendment. It's this, that, and the other thing. It's let it go, guys. Let's not jump to conclusions. Mark, how are you this morning, brother? Can't wait to see you. Packers looked good last night. They did look good, didn't they? That was a good game. I was going to text you, but we'll get to that here in a bit. Let me say this before I know before we get into the shows and some of the events that we got coming up. Let me say this. This is not, and share this out. I want you guys to share this, please, especially this part. This is not a time to divide. This is a time for us to unite. All right, Heroes Media Group. We focus on community heroes, right? Our definition of community heroes is what? If you followed me for a while, or if you followed the network for a while, we've got 50 plus shows on the network, and they all believe in community heroes: law enforcement, firefighters, first responders, military or veterans, clergy, educators. But it doesn't stop there. Community heroes just aren't in uniforms. They're the people who lift others up when life feels unbearable. Let's keep that in mind. Let's be the heroes for each other, especially now after this week, because this week has been a real kick in the crotch. All right, so let's get started on the meat and taters of this week, and we started. And if I get some updates, you'll bear with me. I'll interrupt the broadcast for special updates. All right, we got some stuff. Hey, listen, I'm going to be down in Charlotte, North Carolina. Looking forward to this one. This month, September 26th through the 28th, Empowered Podcasting Conference. I love this event. My buddy Mark, who was over on Instagram. Mark, if you're still over there, give me a thumbs up. It's going to be at the Hyatt Centric in Uptown Charlotte, North Carolina. Go to empoweredpodcasting.com. They still got some tickets available. I'm going to be doing a workshop with my friend Shay Sparks. We're going to be speaking at 1:50 on Friday. 1:50 on Friday. So I believe that's the 26th. So come check us out. We'll be doing a workshop on. What am I doing the workshop on? Building a community that's profitable and with purpose. I love it. This is awesome. This is a great event. If you're a podcaster or you're thinking about starting a podcast, Empowered Podcasting event. My buddy Mark, he started this. Mark's been, I've gotten to be really good friends with him. I consider him a close friend. He's been doing podcasting much longer. I've been doing it for a decade. He's been doing it much longer than I have. This has been a great event. My favorite one out of the podcasting events that I've ever been to. So Empowered Podcasting, go to empoweredpodcasting.com. Get your tickets. Come see us. Maker's Machine, Inner Circle, kind of what we're talking about down Empowered Podcasting, but we do an Inner Circle every Thursday. So if you're interested, if you're a business owner or a podcaster, or you just want somebody to hold you accountable for the things that you are looking to do, shoot me just leave a comment, put Maker's Machine, and I'll reach out to you. All right. We got a new hero story this week. Jimmy Burgess, U.S. Army combat veteran out of Joplin, Missouri. Jimmy is the executive director of Heartland Canines for Veterans. He also works with True Patriot Outfitters in Missouri to help them keep their work going there. The guy's a heart of the size of Texas, continues to put selfish service ahead of anybody else and anything else for that matter. We've learned a lot from him, and he inspires our work every day. Jimmy, great job, man. Keep up the good work. Appreciate you. All right, moving on. What do we got? New show on the network, She Bird the Vibe, is live. Today was their first episode. And right now, it's only exclusive on Heroes Media Group. So if you go to heroesmediagroup.com, click on podcast, and go to She Bird the Vibe, that's where you can hear it right now. It's the only place you can hear it until tomorrow, and then it'll be out on the other platforms. This week, every mother has that moment looking into her child's eyes and silently asking, how do I raise this beautiful soul and not ruin her? Motherhood isn't just about perfection. It's about persistence. In this episode, these two, they get into a raw, funny, heart-filled journey of motherhood and daughterhood. I'm going to tell you, these two, this is a mother and daughter combo, Ashley and Mia. It's a fun show to listen to. These two are great together. She Bird the Vibe. Check it out. JMac podcast down there in just outside of Phoenix, Arizona. Josh has got some events coming up. He's got a next Sandbox event coming up September 25th. Go to the JMac podcast, follow them on the social platforms, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. JMac podcast. Check it out. Vet SOS podcast. I love this group. I was just texting with Sean, the founder. They've got 4 shows that they do. And this week, they dropped some incredible episodes. Military Transition Resource show. They had Mr. David Willis, who was in the comments there. David was on this their episode this week. They also had their series Veteran Entrepreneur Spotlight with Nicole Zettlemore. And then they have another show called The Scoop with Shannon Huffman Polson. I hope I said that right. Shannon Huffman Polson. Yeah. Great episodes. Those 3 episodes that they dropped this week for you. Check them out. It's called the Vet SOS podcast. Don't forget, guys, I'm going to have all of these shows and the links directly to their shows at after the show here. All right. Double S podcast. You can find this one on YouTube. They pre-recorded this show. Our buddy Gene Campbell, he was in the comments earlier. And funny, just talking about Sean Wealth, the founder of Vet SOS podcast. And that's who was on the Double S podcast this week. So Sean was on Double S podcast. And this is why I love our network, because we're working together on each other's shows and stuff. Not Andrea, what's going on? Patriot Pride. Andrea, we got to get on the horn today. Andrea, what'd you guys talk about this week on the People's Patriot Project? We got your 6 at 6. In fact, I'll bring it up right now. We got your 6 at 6 with the People's Patriot Project every Sunday night, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, like a round table. They also do WP3 Radio, and then they do a weekly wrap up on Monday nights, I believe it is. So you could check it out. Go to their Facebook page, People's Patriot Project. Great group. Next up, the Disgruntled PM. This week, Chris McPhee, a PMP. I almost said pimp on that. I'm sorry. I didn't. I almost did, though. But it's not a pimp. He's a PMP trainer and veteran about his transition from military service to project management. They discuss the unique challenges faced by veterans entering the civilian project management field, the importance of understanding project management certifications, and the ever-evolving practices within the industry. Listen, if you are a project manager or you're looking to get into project management, the Disgruntled PM, this is the fastest growing podcast in that industry, and it is amazing to watch how this has grown. very, very fast. And this show just started in April. So go check it out, Disgruntled PM. Speak Up, Show Up, Lead, the Resilience Leadership Podcast with JJ Hardy. This week, he sits down with Tony Riggs, a Marine Corps veteran from 89 to 95, served in the Gulf War, and later became a successful entrepreneur dedicated to empowering veterans. He's launched several businesses. His latest venture, Major Opinion, is a data analytics and research firm focused on ensuring veterans' voices are heard, represented, and used to shape real solutions. This is awesome. Speak Up, Show Up, Lead podcast. Check it out. All right. I'm excited about this one here, this next one. Cadets on the Gridiron. Season 2 is now live. Yours truly. I got to sit down with senior linebacker Andon Thomas. He's one of the leaders and anchors of the Army football defense and quite frankly, the entire team. He opens up about his early doubts about attending West Point and then talks about his pivotal junior year visit that changed everything from embracing the Academy's no-fluff, mission-first recruiting style, shares what made West Point stand apart from all the other schools out there. This show, Cadets on the Gridiron, this isn't about stats. It's not about what they did last game or anything like that. This show is about student athletes that are up at West Point, particularly the Army football team, and we're getting to know these young men on a deeper scale. So check it out. These guys are the next leaders of our military and some outstanding young men. Go check it out. Cadets on the Gridiron. Next up, Faith, Valor, Growth. Excuse me. This week, Mark Hessler, owner of Secure Choice Lending, explores the inaccuracies of mortgage lending for veterans. They discuss the housing market, comparing retail and wholesale lending channels, offer insights to veteran-specific home buying opportunities. If you've never used your VA loan, pay attention to this. This is what you want to learn. The conversation highlights long-term benefits of home ownership. Mark emphasizes, think about it long-term. Like, hey, when you're 60 or when you're in your 70s, you've paid that down. You are no longer renting. They also discuss market projections, buying strategies, and the importance of education in the lending process. Check it out. It's called Faith, Valor, Growth. Rich LaMonica, what is up, brother? How are you? Be talking about you here in just a second. Next up, we got the strategic veteran. This week, Adam asked the question, what if the thing the system won't give you is the one thing that could actually save you? This week, he sits down with Tim Warford. He built a career launching global giants like Sam's Club and Staples across 20 countries. But now he's on a mission closer to home. He's the founder of Smart Body Medical. Tim is bringing affordable hyperbaric oxygen therapy and next generation wellness to neighborhoods where veterans, first responders, and families need real healing, not just pills. With 2 sons in uniform, he knows what's at stake, and he's building the kind of help he hopes they'll never need, but always have. This is a really, really cool story. Check it out. The Strategic Veteran. All right, we got Homefront Sit Rep podcast, and they've done a ton. What was it? Recently, they just did the Tip of the Spear. Last Wednesday of every month, they do Tip of the Spear. This show here earlier this week on Monday night, they had Kevin Brewer, a proud Navy veteran with over 20 years of combined experience across the U.S. military, the intelligence community, and law enforcement intelligence operations. Over the course of his career, he's worn many hats: leader, mentor, analyst, and trainer. And each role has sharpened his ability to thrive in high-pressure environments while bringing out the best in others. Pretty cool episode. You want to check this out as well. Homefront Sit Rep Podcast. Next up, we got Patriots Inside the Wire Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights with the Two-Step Tribe. And they got a big announcement. They have a new foundation called the Two-Step Foundation. And they're going to be giving away their first award tomorrow night in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, to a Mr. Henry Turner Jr. You can see their lives every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday on Facebook and Instagram. They put on a great show. Check it out. Patriots Inside the Wire. Arms Room Show every Monday, 2 p.m. Mountain Time. They got new stuff out. They got Ridgeline suppressors on the show, in the studio discussing what makes a good suppressor. Check it out. Arms Room Show. Misfit Nation. Rich, there you are, brother. I see you. This week, Rich LaMonica, Jake Holland, and Stephen LaMonica sit down to reflect on the tragic events of September 11th, 2001, sharing where they were, how they impacted their lives, and how America has changed over the last 24 years. My God, has it changed. They also discuss Charlie's assassination that happened and the influence of politics, free speech, and the next generation of leaders. This was a pretty powerful episode. Check it out, Misfit Nation podcast. And you're going to see a couple more like this week, guys. Stay with me. Label Free podcast is next. Bob Grenadier III, founder of Heart Path Spiritual Centers. He's a minister and an author. Bob shares his journey of establishing Heart Path, which he describes as an institution without walls, rooted in spirituality of Carl Jung. I did not look up Carl Jung, so forgive me, guys. I can't go on to that. But if you want to learn more about this, take a listen to this. Listeners are encouraged to explore their spirituality, regardless of their background. Heart Path welcomes anybody interested in deepening their spiritual journey. So to check it out, it's called Label Free Podcast. Talked about the People's Patriot Project already. All right, this next one, we got the Decision Hour with yours truly. And I sit down this week with the founder of Operation Barbecue Relief, Mr. Stan Hayes. Stan takes us on a mouthwatering journey from competitive barbecue to a large-scale disaster relief, sharing how a simple idea was born from the Joplin tornado, which happened in 2011, into a nationwide movement. Absolutely amazing. I'm going to put this on here real quick. Hopefully this will show up on both. Operation Barbecue Relief. Go check this organization out. You can go to obr.org to check them out and learn more. They have served over 12 million disaster meals across 42 states. They do more than just disaster relief. They also have a camp OBR. It's 190 acres up in the Ozarks in Missouri, and they do programs and stuff like that up there. So go check it out. This was a great episode, fun. Go check it out. The Decision Hour. Other side of the firewall. In this episode, the host discussed latest cybersecurity news, focusing on the use of AI, social media, critical vulnerabilities that require immediate attention, and the implications of AI on security. This is another great show. And here's the thing. If you're going to use technology, you can learn a lot from this show, Other Side of the Firewall. Check it out. Next up, we got two more. Stay with me. Chasing Happiness. In this episode, Ryan opens up about the check that didn't clear, the bills piling up, and the financial storm that nearly took him out. If you've ever tithed, prayed, and journaled your heart out and still felt like God was silent, this episode's for you this week. Chasing Happiness. Check it out. Last, certainly not least, Rise Up, Voices from the Front Line. Unbroken. They titled it Unbroken Voices in the Wake of Charlie Kirk's Assassination. This is a heavy, I'm a warning. This is a heavy episode this week. Rise Up, Voices from the Front Line. This is a warning. It's heavy. It's raw. It's necessary. No matter where you stand politically, the fact remains a man was killed using his voice for standing in conviction, for refusing to bow to the cultural demand of silence. In this episode, um, Krista Fee, public speaker. She wrestles a hard question, a lot of different questions. Was it in sin, his politics, his skill, debate, or was it more likely his unshakable faith? What does this mean moving forward for other speakers? How do we respond, not with silence, not with fear, but with integrity, courage, and love? Check it out. Rise Up, Voices from the Front Line. Let me give a quick shout out, and then I want to close this out. I got to shout out to these companies. My Tax Fella. My Tax Fella has been a great uh, sounding board. It's been a great organization to work with over the last decade. They do bookkeeping, they do taxes, they do a slew of other things. I would strongly encourage you guys to go check this organization out. Anthony Moriello and his team is absolutely fantastic. Anthony, thank you. Forget Genetics, another great organization, veteran owned. For all you deer hunters out there, if you like animals in your on your wood, whether you're a deer hunter or not, you just want animals in your property. This is a great organization, great company, veteran owned. Check it out. Forget Genetics. Jim Neary's live bait and tackle. I was live with him, or not live, but I was down there last Sunday, and I posted a blog about it. He did a 9/11 fishing tournament down there. Jim, thank you, appreciate you. Fin Tactical, great organization. They're the reason why we have a website right now. Freedom People, go check them out. Love their organization. VA Claim Builder, another good one. And then, of course, From the Farm, getting that point. If you need beef, if you work with a local rancher. If you don't know who a local rancher is or a farmer in your area, go to fromthefarm.com and find one. They got a directory of local farmers and ranchers that don't use GMOs and steroids and all that other crap. It's like pure stuff. Love it. What my buddy AJ has done over there. And then last but not least, can't really see it today because my lighting sucks today, but we're back. HMG Beverage, coffee stuff is back. So if you want coffee, let me know. We're going to run a sale at the end of the month. Stay tuned for that. Ken, good morning, brother. Better it's good to see you, bro. I appreciate you jumping on. Let me close out with this. I said this earlier. I'm going to say it again because it needs to be heard. One, check on your battle buddies. Send a text message to somebody you haven't talked to in a while. See how they're doing. September being Suicide Awareness Month. Let's check on those that you may not think they need a checkup, but just reach out to somebody that you haven't talked to in a while. That's my challenge to you this weekend. And let's keep in mind, don't get the 45, don't get the 45-degree syndrome this weekend. Get off the internet, especially this week. It's been a toxic this week. And also remember, you got to protect your mind, right? You guys heard me say it before, but mainstream media is not our friend. Social media is not necessarily our friend. You got to protect our mind. If you're going to use those things, use them wisely. This is not a time to divide. Pay attention, everybody. This is not a time to divide. This is a time to unite. I said this before. Community heroes aren't just in uniforms. They are people who lift up others when life feels unbearable. This weekend, be a hero to somebody. Be a hero for those that need it. I'll be here next week on time. Have a great week, everybody. God bless you. God bless America. We'll see you guys next week. Take care.